Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India NewsHour, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lin. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour, PM Modi celebrates the 11th International Yoga Day from Andhra Pradesh, describes yoga as a pause button and calls for a Yoga for Humanity 2.0 vision.
Yoga is the pause button that humanity needs to breathe, to balance, to become whole again.
Israel and Iran conflict intensifies. Another top Iranian commander has been killed. Nuclear sites targeted. Diplomatic efforts on in Istanbul amid escalation. French President Macron and Iranian President Pezeshkian agree to speed up EU-Iran nuclear talks amid ongoing tensions. And in cricket, India folds up for 471 on the second day of the first test against England. Rishabh Pant slams a blistering century. Prime Minister Narendra Modi described yoga as a pause button that allows humanity to breathe, find balance and heal. He proposed launching Yoga for Humanity 2.0, where inner peace would guide global policies. He emphasized that yoga is inclusive and meant for everyone, regardless of background or ability. The Prime Minister celebrated the 11th International Day of Yoga from Andhra Pradesh in South India. Here's our report. On 27 September 2014, PM Modi proposed 21st June as International Day of Yoga at the UN. By December, it was officially adopted with support from 193 nations. Since then, it's celebrated globally each year. On the 11th Yoga Day, PM Modi led the national celebration in Visakhapatnam, joined by 500,000 participants. Over 350,000 yoga events were held across India, highlighting yoga's power to unify and heal in today's world. The Prime Minister described yoga as the pause button humanity needs, a way to breathe, rebalance and reconnect amid global instability.
दुर्भाग्य से आज पूरी दुनिया किसी न किसी तनाव से गुजर रही है। कितने ही क्षेत्रों में अशांति और अस्थिरता बढ़ रही है। ऐसे में योग से हमें शांति की दिशा मिलती है। योगा is the pause button that humanity needs to breathe, to balance, to become whole again.
PM Modi said, the theme Yoga for One Earth, One Health opens doors for a new global effort. Yoga for Humanity 2.0, where inner peace guides global policy. He celebrated yoga's rise over 11 years, practiced in space, read in Braille and embraced worldwide, from the Opera House to Everest.
This theme reflects a deep truth. The health of every entity on earth is interconnected. Human well-being depends on the health of the soil that grows our food, on the rivers that gives us water, on the health of the animals that share our ecosystems, on the plants that nourish us. Yoga awakens us to this interconnectedness. Yoga leads us on a journey towards oneness with the world.
PM Modi urged people to adopt yoga not just as a personal routine, but as a mass movement for collective well-being, linking it to India's ethos of moving from me to we. He also spotlighted India's efforts to integrate yoga into modern medicine and promote evidence-based research through institutions like AIMS. In 11 years, IDY has grown into a global celebration. Led by India, yoga now unites cultures from villages to world landmarks. It promotes health, peace, and balance, reflecting India's enduring wisdom and leadership in wellness. The journey continues, fostering harmony and holistic well being worldwide. Bureau Report, DD India. On the occasion of International Yoga Day 2025, India once again showcased its deep-rooted connection with this ancient practice. From the national capital to the corners of Jammu and Kashmir, ministers, leaders and citizens rolled out their mats, embracing yoga as a way of life.
Leading the celebrations in Ahmedabad, Home Minister Amit Shah performed yoga alongside local residents. Shah highlighted yoga's growing global presence and emphasized that yoga unites the mind, body and soul, becoming an essential part of daily life worldwide. In Udhampur, Jammu and Kashmir, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh joined the celebrations, calling yoga one of India's greatest contributions to the world. He underlined that the practice not only promotes health but also carries India's spiritual wisdom to every corner of the globe. Across the nation, union ministers enthusiastically took part in yoga sessions. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, Finance and Corporate Affairs Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal, and Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan actively performed yoga asanas, symbolizing the government's commitment to promoting holistic health in today's fast-paced world. Yoga at Parliament House transformed into a vibrant yoga hub as Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla led a group session with members of Parliament and staff. Addressing the gathering, he said yoga enhances overall well-being and is an invaluable part of India's heritage embraced across the world today. The Ministry of Culture made the day even more memorable by organizing yoga sessions at over 150 cultural and tourist sites across the country. A grand celebration unfolded at Mehrangarh Fort in Jodhpur, where Culture Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat joined participants in a unique blend of history, culture and wellness, spreading a message of peace from the land of Rajasthan. India Sports Minister Mansukh Mandviya also extended his wishes on the occasion, urging everyone to make yoga a daily habit.
योग एक वे ऑफ लाइफ है, योग एक जीवन शैली है, योग मेंटल और फिजिकल फिट रहने का मंत्र है, योग हमारी प्राचीन हमें विरासत में मिली हुई एक संस्कृति भी है.
States too celebrated International Day of Yoga with great fervor. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, Delhi's Rekha Gupta, Haryana's Naib Singh Saini, and Odisha's Chief Minister Mohan Majhi participated in large-scale sessions encouraging citizens to embrace yoga for a balanced life. As India marks another successful International Day of Yoga, the message is loud and clear. Yoga is not just a practice, but a lifestyle that continues to bring the nation and the world together in the pursuit of wellness and harmony. Nancy Baloda's report for DD India.
India's Central Armed Police Force, the ITBP, also performed yoga near the high-altitude lake in India's Ladakh, Pangong Lake, celebrating International Day of Yoga. In a spirited participation in International Day of Yoga, the Indian Coast Guard showcased its commitment to holistic well-being by organizing dynamic yoga sessions across diverse settings from land to the high seas. Over 200 personnel gathered for a large-scale yoga event reinforcing unity, discipline and wellness within the maritime force. Taking the celebration beyond the shoreline, the Indian Coast Guard's initiative stands as a beacon of health and commitment to national as well as global well-being. As part of the ongoing Indo-French joint military exercise Shakti 8 in France, the contingents there participated in International Day of Yoga celebrations. It was conducted by trained yoga instructors from Jammu and Kashmir Rifles Battalion, who represented the Indian Army. The session focused on correct postures, breathing techniques, and the holistic benefits of yoga for physical as well as mental well-being. From Times Square to Tokyo and beaches to parliamentary halls, the world stretched, bent, and breathed as one. The 11th International Day of Yoga saw mass participation across continents, celebrating India's ancient gift to humanity. Millions embraced the power of breath, movement, and mindfulness in a global wave of wellness. Let's take a look at how the world marked the occasion.
As India bends and breathes with nationwide participation on International Day of Yoga, hundreds of thousands of fitness enthusiasts came together on Saturday to celebrate the day across the globe. From hills to beaches and temples to city squares. Yoga enthusiasts returned to Times Square in New York City to practice their movement together and enjoy the summer solstice. Attendees said it was priceless to have participated in the event.
What do you think about doing yoga in Times Square?
Priceless. It's you tune everything out. It's magical.
In Geneva, participants experienced yoga's physical, mental and spiritual benefits through a series of asanas and meditation techniques led by Sister Jayanti of Brahmakumaris. In Myanmar, the International Day of Yoga celebrations culminated in a magical session for 700 participants at the Grand Thuwana Stadium. In Singapore, hundreds gathered under the iconic super tree to embrace the power of breath, movement and stillness, a powerful reminder that wellness begins from within. London's iconic Strand saw yoga enthusiasts come together for an open and free session under this year's theme, Yoga for One Earth, One Health. From the Gulf region, Muscat joined the global celebrations and over 500 gathered in Riyadh for the 11th International Day of Yoga. In Indonesia, thousands of yoga enthusiasts participated in events across the country, highlighting yoga's widespread appeal. The Consulate General of India in Shanghai marked the day with great enthusiasm, highlighting yoga's universal message of harmony and health. The occasion was celebrated with great enthusiasm in Vilnius and 8 different cities of Lithuania. The popularity of yoga in Lithuania is evident, and apparently Lithuania has one of the highest yoga studios compared to the population density. Vivid scenes came in from Sri Lanka, Japan, New Zealand, and Brazil. In Sri Lanka, celebrations were held at the iconic Independence Square. At Tokyo's historic Tsukuji Hongwanji Temple, hundreds gathered to mark International Yoga Day. People from all walks of life came together to embrace the ancient practice.
Today I had a very special experience with the yoga lesson. I recommend to do yoga because yoga protect our health, not only health but also mental health. It's very good for people.
In New Zealand, the parliament opened its doors to peace and stillness as citizens and leaders came together to honor ancient gift of yoga. Indian Cultural Center in Brazil organized numerous yoga-related events and brought together yoga experts, spiritual masters, and artists promoting health and unity. From iconic landmarks to serene, open spaces, the 11th International Day of Yoga reaffirmed that yoga is more than just a practice. It's a global movement for harmony, balance, and inner peace. Rabindra Chauhan for DD India.
And still to come here on DD India NewsHour. Russia, Ukraine continue to exchange attacks. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko meets the US Special Envoy Keith Kellogg in Minsk. Severe flooding wreaks havoc in southern China's Guangxi region after torrential rains.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Mark Lynn. Israel has killed 2 Iranian Revolutionary Guards commanders and struck Isfahan nuclear facility. Diplomacy is also gaining ground as the French President Emmanuel Macron and his Iranian counterpart Masoud Pezeshkian agreed to speed up talks over Iran's nuclear program.
Israel-Iran conflict continues to escalate. Israeli army said that it has killed top Iranian commander Saeed Izzadi, who led the Palestine Corps of the Quds Force, the Revolutionary Guard's overseas arm. Israel said that Izzadi financed and armed Hamas ahead of the October 7 attack.
Overnight, we inflicted further damage to the Isfahan nuclear site and to other locations in western Iran. On screen, you can see a site where uranium reconversion takes place, the stage following uranium enrichment, part of the nuclear weapon production process. As a part of the operation's opening salvo, we struck this site. Last night, we struck it again.
Israel also targeted 2 centrifuge production sites at Iran's Isfahan nuclear facility overnight in the second wave of strikes on the location since the conflict began. While in Israel, army reported an intrusion in a valley. Israeli police said that 2 buildings have sustained damages in the drone attack, but no casualties were reported as residents took refuge in shelters following security alerts. A video released by Israel's National Emergency Services showed a team deployed on site where a building roof catches fire in the city of Holon in central Israel after the Israeli army said a fresh barrage of missiles was launched from Iran. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, who is in Istanbul for a meeting of foreign ministers of Organization of Islamic Cooperation, ruled out nuclear talks with US if Israeli attacks continue.
In order for us to come back to diplomacy, the aggression should be stopped. It is obvious I cannot go to negotiation with the United States when our people are under bombardments. Under the support of the United States, we have come unfortunately to the conclusion that the United States has been in this aggression from the beginning.
Later, Araghchi met Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, who said that Israeli attacks were aimed at sabotaging the Iran nuclear talks. Russian President Vladimir Putin said that Moscow had told Israel that there is no evidence Iran is aiming to get nuclear weapons.
I have to say that neither Russia nor the International Atomic Energy Agency has or ever had any evidence that Iran is preparing to acquire nuclear weapons. We have repeatedly informed the Israeli leadership of that. We believe that Iran has the right to use nuclear technology for peaceful purposes, and we are ready, as we have been in previous years, to provide Iran with necessary support in this area.
Diplomatic efforts are also underway. French President Emmanuel Macron said that he had received a call from his Iranian counterpart Masoud Pezeshkian that they had agreed to accelerate negotiations between European powers and Iran over its contested nuclear program. Meanwhile, Iranians continue to flee their country through the Armenian border. Bureau Report, DD India.
And another evacuation flight has landed in India under Operation Sindhu. And this was the second direct flight from Tehran to Delhi, carrying 310 Indian nationals on board. It marks the 5th flight in total under Operation Sindhu. Officials from the Ministry of External Affairs were present at the Delhi airport to receive the passengers. By tonight, a total of 1,100 Indian nationals would have returned to India from Iran under this evacuation mission. Earlier flights had arrived from Mashhad in Tehran and Ashgabat. Now, the government of India had launched Operation Sindhu in view of the escalating tensions between Iran and Israel to ensure the safe return of Indian citizens. Sumaira Rahman, a resident of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, was pursuing her MBBS at Medical College in Tehran. But with the outbreak of the war between Iran and Israel, she had to leave her studies midway. DD India's Akhilesh Suman spoke to her.
Sumaira Rahman is coming from Iran and she hails from Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. And let us talk what she has seen here and how Indian government has helped her to reach Delhi. Sumaira, how was your experience when Indian government took you here?
Very happy at that time. It was a sign of relief that now they are going to take care of us and they are going to take us back to our home.
What you were doing there?
MBBS.
MBBS. So how did you come from Tehran to Delhi? Just give us a feel.
Yeah, first Indian Embassy helped us to shift from Tehran to Qom and then from Qom to Mashhad and then by air we came from Mashhad to here. Then it was they really helped us and it got smoothly. Yeah.
Russia and Ukraine claimed to have struck each other's key military sites on Friday. Russia said that its forces had seized 6 settlements and hit Ukrainian military and energy targets over the past week. Moscow also reported intercepting Ukrainian aerial bombs, HIMARS rockets, and over 1,000 drones as well. Now, Ukraine's military also reported more than 170 battles in frontline areas within a day, claiming strikes on Russian command posts as well as artillery positions. Now, both sides also conducted a prisoner swap under the June 2 Istanbul Agreement, returning captured soldiers. Released servicemen from both countries will now receive medical care and rehabilitation. The Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko on Saturday met with the U.S. Special Envoy Keith Kellogg. Lukashenko and Kellogg discussed global political dynamics and the bilateral ties between Belarus and the United States, according to state news agency Belta. Now, although the meeting's special agenda was uncertain, the envoy viewed it as a step that would help jumpstart peace talks aimed at ending Russia's war against Ukraine. Kellogg is the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit Belarus in years. Belarus's opposition leader Syarhe Tsikhanouskaya has been released from prison. This is what his wife Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya has said in a post on social media X on Saturday. A court in Belarus had sentenced him in 2021 to 18 years in jail after he was arrested during an attempt to run for the president's post against the incumbent Alexander Lukashenko. Tsikhanouskaya is his name, is now in Lithuania's capital, Vilnius. A spokesperson for his wife has said so. A total of 14 prisoners were released, the spokesperson added, and we're not done, is what Tsikhanouskaya, who's his wife, has said, calling for a release of a further 1,150 prisoners. In China, floods have caused havoc after heavy rains in the southern Guangxi-Zhuang Autonomous Region. And the floods on Saturday led to a burst of the riverfront, heavy rain, submerged farmland, and triggered landslides and flash floods, which inundated several houses in the affected areas. Rescue efforts were deployed to clear the debris and rocks, with at least 78 people evacuated so far. The country's meteorological administration continued to issue an orange alert for flooding as the country's rainy season arrived earlier than usual this year. In Taiwan, a high school teacher has condemned the removal of Chinese national hero Wen Qianqiang from textbooks, warning that it could undermine students' national identity. The high school teacher highlighted the enduring patriotic spirit of Wen at the Memorial Hall of Wen in Shenzhen city. Wen is a national hero and scholar living in the turbulent final years of China's southern Song dynasty, and he's remembered for his patriotism and unwavering conviction. Pope Leo XIV warned politicians on the challenges posed by the rise of artificial intelligence, addressing its potential impact on younger people as a prime concern. Addressing the second annual Rome Conference on Artificial Intelligence attended by the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and parliamentary delegations from 68 countries, he said, in particular, it must not be forgotten that artificial intelligence functions as a tool for the good of human beings, not to diminish them or even to replace them. The French the French police on Saturday, they have stopped a group of migrants from crossing the Channel to the United Kingdom. The officers blocked the migrants' inflatable small boat from setting it off before puncturing it after its occupants disembarked and left the beach. In response to the increasing number of migrant crossings in the Channel, France plans to curb the arrival of small boats in Britain by amending its engagement protocols to intercept vessels, according to the French Interior Ministry. Let's take a look at some other stories now. Water continued to pump from Mike Lynch's super yacht as it was seen upright on the surface for the first time since it sank off the coast of Sicily. The 184 feet yacht sank in August last year after being hit by a superstorm downburst in the tragedy that left 7 people dead. The 27th Shanghai International Film Festival's Sci-Fi Film Week launched the Tech Part Creation section for the first time on Saturday. It highlighted how AI technology, digital imaging and virtual production are accelerating their integration into the film industry. In the United Kingdom, crowds of revelers gathered before sunrise at Stonehenge, the monument there, to mark the summer solstice on Saturday. The celebrations took place by the stones of the prehistoric megalithic structure, and this monument holds spiritual significance and attracts thousands of revelers, spiritualists and tourists during the summer solstice. Thousands of Malaysian ethnic Dayak people celebrated the end of the rice harvest season by parading through the streets of Kuching, the capital of Sarawak State on the island of Borneo. Malaysia's Dayak people, they are mainly riverine and hill-dwelling, and they make up they are made up of dozens of ethnic groups, each with their own distinct dialect, customs, laws and practices. Still to come here on DD India NewsHour. We're going to be dwelling on the message of the 11th International Day of Yoga with an expert.
India's cities and villages, many are rethinking the way we live, the way we work, and even the way we grow. And these small shifts have the potential to actually transform our collective future.
We have conducted workshops. We do projects mostly for individuals or also corporates. So we are saying we are salvaging material and we are trying to work on it to increase the life of material.
In the short period of time, they were able to reduce the cost by 50%, drilling time by 70%. This is where the excitement is coming.
We are mainly focusing the afforestation program like tree banking, oxygen park, green island.
Fish feces is known as sludge and can be used for plantain farming, which didn't only help my plantain farming, but also all the other crops that I started to grow.
You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Mark Lynn. Here's a recap of our main stories. Prime Minister Modi celebrates the 11th International Yoga Day from Andhra Pradesh. He describes yoga as a pause button and calls for a Yoga for Humanity 2.0 vision. Israel-Iran conflict intensifies. Another top Iranian commander is killed. Nuclear sites targeted. Diplomatic efforts on in Istanbul amid the escalation. The French President Macron and the Iranian President Pezeshkian agree to speed up EU-Iran nuclear talks amid ongoing tensions. The Embassy of India in Riyadh celebrated the 11th International Day of Yoga with remarkable enthusiasm at Prince Faisal bin Fahd Sports City Stadium, drawing over 500 yoga enthusiasts from across the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. India's ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Dr. Suhail Ejaz Khan, expressed heartfelt appreciation for the extraordinary turnout and warm support from Saudi authorities, describing yoga as more than just exercise. He described it as a bridge between cultures and civilizations that transcends boundaries. And this event was organized in collaboration with the Saudi Yoga Committee and also local partners, highlighting this year's theme of Yoga for One Earth, One Health. The Indian Embassy in Abu Dhabi hosted a large-scale celebration of the International Day of Yoga at the Abu Dhabi National Exhibition Centre. And this session also was graced by the UAE Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence, Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan. He was chief guest. Indian tennis star Sania Mirza also joined as a guest of honor. And the Indian ambassador to the UAE, Sanjay Sudhir, he took part in the celebration. So, yoga sessions were led by renowned international instructors, catering to participants of all levels and aimed at promoting holistic wellness and intercultural harmony. In the Russian capital, Moscow, the 11th International Day of Yoga 2025 was organized at the iconic All Russia Exhibition Center, and this was in collaboration with the Moscow city government. So the gathering was graced by the Ambassador of India to Russia, Vinay Kumar, and Mr. Bulat Nurumkhanov, who is the Deputy Chairman of the Moscow City Tourism Committee. Speaking on the occasion, Ambassador Kumar highlighted the role of yoga in uniting cultures, stating that yoga is India's gift to the world. It transcends boundaries, bringing people together for a healthier and more harmonious planet. The event highlighted the enduring bonds of India-Russia friendship through the universal message of wellness, unity and peace. Yoga, an ancient practice with its origins in India, has grown into a global movement, particularly following the United Nations' declaration of the 21st of June as the International Day of Yoga. This happened in 2014. Addressing a function organized by Nepal's Ministry of Education, Science and Technology on the 11th International Day of Yoga in Patan, the Prime Minister of Nepal, KP Sharma Oli, he stated that yoga is associated with humanity and peace, and that it is meant for the welfare of mankind and the world. From the last several weeks, in fact, as part of a series of events being conducted by the Embassy of India in Nepal to celebrate the 11th International Day of Yoga across various cities in Nepal, yoga demonstrations with huge public participation were being organized. And one such was in Mayadevi Temple in Lumbini, the Narayan Ghad in Chitwan, also the Fewa Lake in Pokhara, the midpoint of Nepal at Lamjung, UNESCO heritage sites in Kathmandu Valley and other iconic locations. The Embassy of India in Kathmandu and its associated offices in Pokhara, Birg, Gunj and Dharana, they have all been intensively organizing yoga sessions across iconic locations, and this is to draw the Nepalese people into yoga practices. A yoga photo contest also was organized a week ago in Nepal to promote awareness about yoga and its benefits, especially its connection with nature. And to help us understand the importance of yoga and International Yoga Day as well, we have with us Acharya Pratishta, Yoga Guru. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being with us. Now, the Prime Minister has said that yoga is a pause button for humanity at a time like this, of global unrest, environmental crises and things like that. How would yoga actually achieve that?
See, this is, yoga is a beautiful tool of soft diplomacy. As just now you mentioned that yoga is a way that leads us towards peace, towards harmony. So I always say that United Nations declared 21st June as International Day of Yoga to give true meaning to its name, because yoga, the actual word meaning of yoga is union. And United Nations declared it as International Day of Yoga because today when individuals are scattered, when families are scattered, when society is scattered, when nations are scattered, we need a science to synthesize. We need a science to bridge that gap between civilizations, between nations, and yoga can do that. Why? Because of a very strong message that's being given in yoga philosophy. That's the message of peace, yet that's the message of universal brotherhood. Today, when we talk about one earth, one health, it simply means Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that the whole world is a big family, and there is no one in this entire world who want to have sorrow, who want to have diseases, who want to live an unhappy life. Everybody wants to be happy, everybody wants to live in a state of bliss, and yoga is the only way that touches all the levels of human life, whether we talk about physical level, mental level, social level, emotional level, physical and psychological, financial, spiritual level. So it is a science of wellness at all levels, and it is a science of union, and it helps in not just giving peace to the one who is practicing it, but to the world. That's why we always say,
Yes.
Yat Brahmande Tat Pinde.
Acharya Pratishta, the Prime Minister also spoke about Yoga for Humanity 2.0. He says it has the ability to reshape global policy. Now, when you would from sort of prioritizing inner peace to collective well-being, how is this going to work in the sense?
See, that's true. When we talk about yoga, generally it is being misunderstood as just a form of exercise. It is not. It is a complete lifestyle. And the basic definition of yoga itself says yoga karmasu kaushalam, which means full perfection in your work is yoga. Like you are hosting this show so perfectly, this is also yoga. When each and every person start doing his or her work perfectly, we can create a better world. And for that, we need to have a healthy body and a healthy mind at individual level so that we can make a healthy world altogether. We can make a healthy society. So, of course, it begins with an individual, but the real message of yoga is universal. And when we talk about universal brotherhood, when we talk about universal peace, by promoting, propagating right form of yoga, not just as a form of exercise, but a complete well-being, we can achieve it. As I said, it gives a message of universal brotherhood. Right now, we have witnessed so many things in this year itself that it is very important that we follow the path being taught through yoga, whether it be through yam, niyam, our day-to-day lifestyle, way we think, way we behave. This all contributes in making this world a better place, not only for us, but also for the coming generations.
Ma'am, also the theme for this year is Yoga for One Earth, One Health. It talks about interconnectedness. Let's try and relate the human health with the planet's health. I mean, how is that possible?
That's most important thing. Generally, as I said, we think yoga is just asana, only physical exercises we are doing. Somebody thinks that yoga is just a respiratory practice. Somebody thinks it's just a meditation practice. But there are 8 different limbs of yoga. Now, these limbs are yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So when we talk about yam and niyam, the first niyam, the first rule is shauch, which means cleanliness. When we talk about cleanliness, it's not possible that you are doing pranayam for your health, but your environment is not pure. There is so much of, you don't have greenery around you. So this is a vision of our Prime Minister, which is really amazing that he has connected Harit Yoga with the yoga practice. So that it has given a very strong message that we are, until and unless we are doing it only for ourselves. See, we are a culture of sarve bhavantu sukhine. It's not possible that somebody sitting next to me is not happy, is unhappy, and I can become happy. That's not possible. That's why we talk about sarve bhavantu sukhine. And to live a not just healthy but happy life, we need to live in coordination, not only with humans, but also with nature. So it's very important that we value nature, Mother Nature. Until and unless we don't value Mother Nature, no matter how tough asanas you can do, how good meditation you can do, you can never achieve health and wellness at all three levels, body, mind, and soul. So Harit Yoga is a beautiful initiative by Ministry of Ayush, and we all are contributing to that.
Ma'am, also the Prime Minister talked about the transition from me to we, and how does that, sort of create more compassion and cooperation in society?
Yeah, as I said, it is all about the philosophy of yoga. Now, every year, I always say that he's a yogi prime minister. So every year we are going deeper into the yoga practice. It started with body, it went to mind, then now we are moving towards yam and niyams. The first yam is ahimsa, which means non-violence. Non-violence is a tool to universal brotherhood. If everybody starts living life with non-violence, we can achieve that universal brotherhood, which is an integral part of yoga. So when we say me to us, it's simply, we call it in Sanskrit, yatra vishwam bhavatek nidam. I alone cannot do anything, but we unitedly can do a lot. We unitedly can bring a positive change in society. And here we are not only thinking about us and our generation, it is about bringing a positive change in the world for our coming generations as well, through Mother Nature, through bringing love and peace, through bringing universal harmony.
Ma'am, also when we look at one world, we see that there are different cultures, geographies, there are generational divides in a sense. How does yoga sort of bridge all this?
That's the very important, because everybody, despite of their gender, despite of their age, despite of their religion, despite of their caste, despite of their nationality, as humans, first we are humans. All these differences are made after that. So first we are humans, and as human, we all have one common goal in life, and that common goal is Dukkhatre Nivritti Swarupananda Vaptischa, which means we all want to be happy. Despite of all the differences we have, everybody wants to be happy. I have never seen anyone saying, I want to be diseased, I want to be unhappy, I want to live a sorrowful life. No, everybody wants to be happy. Now, what is that one tool that can give you happiness at all levels? Whether we take it only at the level of body, or mental happiness, or social happiness, or spiritual happiness. So yoga is that tool. Hence, whether we belong to any cultural background, we belong to any age group, yoga is for everyone. And then the basic definition is yoga karmasu kaushalam. It gives perfection to whatever you are doing. So I'm sure everybody wants to live their life perfectly. Hence, yoga has become a necessity for every generation.
A final question, Acharya Pratishta. Prime Minister talked about integrating public health, education systems and all that, with yoga for long-term peace and resilience. How is that going to be done in a sense, where, medicine and all these things are also integrated with yoga in the long term?
There is a beautiful thought that came to my mind some time back. We always say that yoga has become very, very flexible. First we say yoga makes you flexible. A thought came to my mind, making us flexible, yoga has also become flexible with time. If we talk about today's time, diseases have changed. As humans, we have evolved, and things are changing around us and inside us so rapidly. Hence, this age-old tradition of yoga is also changing with time, and we have to unite ourselves and this knowledge of yoga with other system of healing as well. And today we are doing it through Ministry of Ayush, and even the individual institutions, the leading yoga institutions of India, like Mokshayatan Yoga Sansthan. We have integrated a lot of such things. We have joined, in the past also, we joined hands with the modern medical doctors, and we prepared COVID management, prevention and cure protocol as well. So things are changing, and I think yoga has become so flexible that it can work together with other alternate forms of healing as well.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Yoga Guru Acharya Pratishta. Thank you for joining us on this very special day, International Day of Yoga. Thank you, ma'am. Now let's take a look at some other stories making the news. The CBI conducted searches at 7 places, 2 each in Patna and Purnia, and 1 each in Jamshedpur, Nalanda and Munger. The searches recovered 7 100-gram gold bars, incriminating documents and mobile phones. The searches were conducted in a case registered for bogus GST claims through fake export bills. In West Bengal, BJP supporters blocked traffic on Howrah Bridge as they protested against the detention of the Union Minister and BJP State President Sukunta Majumdar. Majumdar was detained on Friday when he tried to meet an NRI doctor at his residence who had earlier protested during the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's visit to the United Kingdom. A local court in Meghalaya's Shillong on Saturday remanded Sonam Raghuvanshi and her alleged boyfriend Raj to 13 days of judicial custody in connection with the murder of the Indore businessman Raja Raghuvanshi. Raghuvanshi and his wife went missing while honeymooning in Meghalaya's Sora area on May 23. Several parts of Delhi witnessed a sudden change in weather on Saturday evening as rain showers brought much needed relief from the extreme heat. Meanwhile, the Met Department has issued a yellow alert forecasting rainfall this is from Friday to Monday. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. South Africa joins the global community in marking the 11th International Day of Yoga. Marketa Vondrousova outs the world number 1 Sabalenka to reach the Berlin Open final. Also, Rishabh Pant breaks MS Dhoni's record for the most runs by a wicketkeeper in test matches in SENA countries. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. In a powerful celebration of wellness, unity and ancient tradition, South Africa joined the global community in marking the 11th International Day of Yoga.
In the majestic setting of the Drakensberg Mountains, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Consulate General of India in Durban celebrated a vibrant yoga session here in the heart of the mountains. They drew participants from across the region. Surrounded by nature's calm, the event celebrated yoga as a tool for mental clarity, physical vitality, and spiritual harmony.
It was about 11 years ago, my Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, had the vision to take yoga to the global world, to the global body called United Nations, and to present to the Assembly a proposition that the world will adopt yoga and practice it for the wellness of all.
Meanwhile, in Johannesburg, the Consulate General of India, Johannesburg, brought the city together for a community-driven yoga event at the Cradle of Humankind, also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The event promoted holistic healing and underscored yoga's growing global appeal. The theme for this year's yoga is One Earth, One Health.
We thought that if we have to do yoga, which is also an intangible heritage to the humanity, it should also come and reconnect with the Cradle of Humankind from where it all began. And both these sites, I mean, yoga in the international context has a big imprint of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He had introduced this initiative globally through United Nations resolution. That's how this day is being celebrated now all over the world. And this site also hosts his handprints. He had visited the site, so we thought, let's bring all those things together since we have already completed a decade of yoga and yoga has grown that popular. So in that popularity, it's important to also highlight those connections. So that's how Cradle of Humankind was chosen.
Both events were supported by the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center under the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, which continues to play a vital role in promoting Indian culture, philosophy, and wellness practices across South Africa. From the sacred slopes of the Drakensberg to the ancestral ground of the Cradle of Humankind, South Africans honored the ancient tradition of yoga, a timeless gift from Bharat to the world. As the Sanskrit saying goes, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. Today, that family breathed as one. For DD India, South Africa, I'm Nazneen.
Now, Sri Lanka is confident of receiving the next tranche of the IMF Extended Fund Facility. Speaking exclusively to our special correspondent after participating in the International Day of Yoga program at Colombo, Sri Lanka's Minister for Labour, Professor Anil Jayanta Fernando, said that the island nation has met all the required criteria under the IMF program.
So there are lots of areas, criteria, quantitative, qualitative, governance, debt management, all those things. So actually we are proud to say that we have been able to meet all those criteria. As a result, we are highly confident that we will be getting the allocated installments as planned for sure. And same time, so we are highly confident that this would be the last extended fund facility program, because our president, as Excellency Amru Dissanayake, stressed the fact that this will be the last IMF, the extended fund facility program. Our country will never ever be in such a crisis in the future. And the same was ratified by the Geeta Gopinath. Geeta Gopinath also ratified it. And from economic front, actually we are progressing very well. And this year, the first quarter, we achieved 4.8% economic growth, within which the industrial sector has reported almost 10% growth.
You're watching DD India NewsHour. Let's get you the sports news. And the fast bowler Josh Tongue helped England to dismiss India for 471 runs on the second day of the first test after Rishabh Pant notched up a blistering century in Leeds on Saturday. India were cruising towards a big score in excess of 500 runs, but a collapse on both sides of lunch saw India lose the last 7 wickets for just 41 runs, despite Pant's score of 134 runs. The skipper, Ben Stokes, led England's attack, securing 4 wickets for 66 runs, while the fast bowler Josh Tongue wrapped up the innings with 4 scalps. Earlier, the Indian captain, Shubman Gill, was dismissed for 147 runs, sublime innings of his, and his exit ended a partnership of 209 runs with Rishabh Pant and opened the door to a flurry of wickets. In reply, England scored 114 runs for the loss of 1 wicket. Rishabh Pant broke MS Dhoni's record for the most runs by a wicketkeeper in away test matches in SENA countries. That's South Africa, England, New Zealand and Australia. They are collectively called SENA countries. Pant, in fact, had achieved this feat on day 2 of the first test against England at Headingley. Pant scored, as we said, his 7th test century, going past Dhoni's tally of 1,731 runs. The former captain had an average of 31.47. Pant has reached the mark in 6 fewer innings, and he has a healthy average of 40.25. In his 7-year test career, Pant has 4 centuries in SENA countries. His highest is 159 not out, scored in Sydney in 2019. Marketa Vondrousova brushed aside the world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka in Berlin Open on Saturday to reach her first final since lifting the Wimbledon title 2 years ago. The 25-year-old Czech dominated Sabalenka to secure a 6-2, 6-4 win. The 27-year-old lost her first semi-final of this year. Sabalenka's first serve let her down in the opening set, but the Belarusian fought back to start the second set with a break. Doordarshan levelled at 2-2, then took a 5-4 lead and wrapped up the match. Despite previous wins over Lanka, this was Vondrousova's first victory against a reigning number 1. Her ranking in fact plummeted from 6th after missing several months of action because of a shoulder injury. Liverpool have broken their transfer record for signing of Germany international Florian Wirtz from Bayern Leverkusen. Now, Wirtz has signed a long-term deal with Premier League champions. His shirt number is expected to be announced later in the summer. The deal, which includes a guaranteed £100 million and a further £16 million on add-ons, tops Liverpool's previous club record, which was the signing of Virgil van Dijk for £75 million. That happened in 2018. Wirtz, who scored 57 goals in 197 Leverkusen appearances, is Liverpool's second major signing of the summer. The outgoing International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach is going to hand over reins to Kirsty Coventry on June 23. After being in power for 12 years, and Bach took over in 2013 and immediately announced wide-ranging reforms, both in relation to the Olympic Games and the IOC itself. These including reducing the size of the cost of the Games to make them in fact more attractive to future host cities. The 71-year-old Bach will step down from his post on Monday and will also vacate his IOC membership. His successor, Coventry, was elected to the post in March. She will formally assume the role following the handover ceremony in Switzerland. Coventry is set to become the first woman and the first African to lead the IOC. That's all we have in this edition of DD India NewsHour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those of you on the go, get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. It's available in Android and iOS. You can download it by scanning the QR code. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lin. It's been a pleasure bringing you the news from Delhi. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.